Hey guys, this is Brett Veets being the video here, and today it's time for things that I've broken before while playing yo-yo. And most of the things in this video that I've broken are yo-yos, and there's a couple of stories and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, to some of these, I guess, accidents and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So I've got roughly like 5 things here, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to get into them. This is going to be a fun video here today. So let's do it. Intro, let us go. Alright, so first things first, I'll start off with my first yo-yo, how I broke my first yo-yo. The original North Star by Yo-Yo Factory. Infamous story, right? So, the orange North Star. This is the original North Star. It's got Jensen Kimmitt's name on it. So the original North Star, I'm actually going to be fixing this pretty soon. I'll probably buy some special glue to hold this cap back on. But basically what happened is, this was years ago. I actually have it in my book here, so I'll check it out. So the real story of how I broke my Yo-Yo Factory North Star, my first yo-yo ever, it was actually what happened was, so I broke this, when was it again? 2013. Okay, so I was outside of my driveway practicing yo-yo tricks, having a great time, enjoying the fresh, beautiful weather, the fresh air, everything like that. My yo-yo, just minding my own business, doing yo-yo tricks. Guess who walks by? Jojo Siwa walks by my house, just minding her own business. I'm distracted. I'm just like, oh my goodness, is that JoJo? I'm like, your biggest fan. Walks by, distracted. I'm distracted. They can't see what I'm doing, so I'm not paying attention. And then boom, yo-yo hits the driveway, cracks the cap right off the edge of the yo-yo, and now it's broken. And it's just so unfortunate, you know. So yeah, the reason my North Star is broken right now is because of you, JoJo. Like, how could this happen? You know, I'm just trying to do what I love to do, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm feeling good, you know. It's unfortunate things that happen at the wrong times. I was in my basement one day, I was doing yo-yo tricks. I was still, well, actually around that time I was pretty good, but there was one day I was doing tricks and I was messing up a lot. I got so frustrated. I took the North Star, took the string off my finger, took it, threw it at a concrete wall in my basement. So I was so upset. And I went over, and it was actually still in pretty good condition, but one of the caps had popped off the one of the sides here. So what I'll have to do is get some glue and glue it back together so I can actually unscrew it. That's the problem that I'm having with my North Star. And one day, probably relatively soon, I'll get this thing spinning again, my original North Star, and I can't wait for that day. Alright, so the next thing, I'll tell you guys a little story about my Dark Magic 2 in black. So I've had this one for quite a little while. It's like an intermediate style yo-yo or early advanced style. And basically, I've always kept this thing in really good condition, and it still is in really good condition. I don't play with it much anymore, but there was one time that I got a little scratch on it. And I remember this story specifically. I was at, during the summer, I was at like a cottage vacation. I was on vacation. So anyways, I was outside in the driveway, so the cement driveway or like the asphalt driveway, practicing yo-yo tricks. And I remember I was practicing the double iron whip yo-yo trick. And that's actually around the time I first started hitting it, so that was pretty awesome. And I went to go perform one, and I missed the catch, and then the Dark Magic 2 actually hit the asphalt, and I got a little scratch on it. And that's like the only scratch I ever got on the Dark Magic 2, so that's pretty interesting actually. And I remember when it happened, I was like, no! Like, I was so like upset. Like, I've been practicing with it for so long, I never dinged it off anything. Yeah, it's this one right here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the only scratch on this thing still. That's pretty incredible actually. But yeah, that's pretty funny story. I was so upset, like, you know. The Dark Magic 2, it's not, you know, like the most expensive or nicest yo-yo, but still, you know. Alright, so next up I'll show you guys my One Drop Rally. I've played with this thing so many times for so many years, and it is so beat up. Like, I mean, I don't even play with it anymore, but like, there's like cracks forming on it just from stress from playing with it for so many years. And there's so many like defects, you know, like so many cracks and stuff, and spots where it kind of gave up and just split in half. Like, so yeah, the One Drop Rally, there's like a chip in it right there. It's just crazy how much abuse this thing's taken just by playing. I don't think I've ever hit this thing off of anything before, like very, very few times. You know, I certainly love the One Drop Rally. Oh my goodness, it's just, it feels so awesome. I mean, this is such a great yo-yo. As I drop the bearing onto the floor, actually I don't even think this is the bearing that goes into it. This is, this goes into something else, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I swapped them one day, I don't really know. Oh yeah, and the cap starts like popping out now. So when I screw it back together, sometimes it like punctures it out the other side. So I have to like stick it back in, like that. And this thing is so much abuse just by playing. So definitely a great yo-yo. The next thing, so these are actually loopers. So my Yo-Yo Jam, yeah, Yo-Yo Jam Unleashed yo-yos. One of these yo-yos, I was in my basement one day, and whichever one's more scratched up, I don't think it was this one. Yeah, it was definitely this one. This one looks a little more beat up. So I don't do a lot of looping tricks, but I remember there was one day, do I have it written down? No, I don't have it written down. This was probably like 2014, probably something like that. I was in my basement doing around the worlds and stuff with this thing. And basically in our basement we have like, yeah, you already know where this is going. So in my basement we have like these fluorescent lights that come out from the ceiling, like light bulbs. Okay, this was quite a while ago, right? But I was in my basement and I was doing around the worlds and like looping and stuff. And I had my yo-yo in my hand. I went to go do a strong around the world. I whipped my yo-yo around and the light bulb was turned on. It was on the top of the ceiling and I just shattered this light bulb with this Yo-Yo Jam Unleashed yo-yo. I shattered this light bulb and I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't even know it was there. And I was like freaking out. Well, I wasn't really freaking out, but I was like, oh my goodness, how could I do that? I'm so irresponsible. Like, I went and shut off the power and then I was like, oh my god, I gotta clean this up. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I gotta clean this up. And it was just so terrible. Like, yeah, that's quite a funny story. I was kind of scared at the time, but like, you know, that's always something I laugh at when I see my Unleashed yo-yos, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that time I was in my basement and I like destroyed a light bulb in a matter of milliseconds. Like, wow. It's another funny story. And the last yo-yo I have here, the Magic N8 yo-yo, which the threading in it stripped a long time ago and it still doesn't screw back together anymore. Maybe I could try a different axle and it might screw back together, but I'm pretty sure it's the threading in this thing. And there's still some old silicone in here from a long time ago. It's a Magic N8 yo-yo. Pretty awesome. This is actually the yo-yo that I used in the talent show when I was in school. March in 2013. I was in my high school. And this is the yo-yo that I used. And you guys can check out my talent show video that I made earlier this year. Maybe you saw it already. And I kind of go into detail about it, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. It was a great yo-yo. And I remember another funny story. Around the time of the talent show, I was like kind of, like this was before the performance. Like the day before, I was kind of showing kids in my class my yo-yo tricks and stuff. And one of the kids was like, oh, can I try it out? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, because it's pretty cheap. So then I gave him the Magic N8. He went to go throw it on the ground and just smacked it on the ground. I was like, alright, that's okay. You know, it's pretty cheap. And you can still see the marks that it made when that happened. Those little, like, silver marks there where he took the paint off. So I always look back at these scuffs and I laugh. Because I know it was from him. And, yeah, none of these are from me, actually. I took really good care of this yo-yo. So he was like the first person to mess it up. I'm just like, alright, it's cool. And that's pretty much all of them. Yeah, so the N8, that N8 story is from 2013, that's right, when I was on the talent show, and then it split not too long after that, and I couldn't get it to screw back together again, so that was pretty upsetting, but I still keep it as a keepsake. thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was funny. Hope it was, just interesting for you. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel and see more videos just like this one coming up again really soon here. Once again, my name is Brett Vatesby. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again next time.